Hello guys, you all are welcome back to this Python tutorial series. Again, in this tutorial we are going to talk about Python class, and Python is an object-oriented programming, and almost everything in Python is an object with properties and method. Class is the foundation on which we build these objects. So let's say in Python we have different objects. Let's say we can have a chair, we can have a laptop, we can have a person, and each of these objects has its own properties. A property of a laptop can be its color or the model or the size. So all those things are the properties of the laptop, and then it has a method. The laptop can be used, what the laptop can be used for, like the characteristic. The laptop can be used to code, it can be used to design, it can be used to do a lot of things. So all those things are what's referred to as the method, what the objects can really do. And today I will show you how to use all of them, or probably most of them, in using the class. But without wasting much of our time, let's get started. First, I'm going to create our class called person, which I believe most people is going to relate with it. And then I'm going to create make the property of this person name. The first property of the person is name, and then his name is equal to also Emmanuel. And if I want to print this property of this person, I can just say print inside the class. I can just say print name, which is a variable, and then when I run my code, you see that we have a name printed out. But aside from the name, we can also add a lot of properties about the person. The person has age, the person has color, the person has different characteristics. So all those things, all those labels that makes us that really describes the person are what we can add as a property of the person. But we can also create the object of this person in class. So if I want to create the object of this person, so that we may have a lot of persons, let's say first person, second person, third person, this is how we create this object. Let's say my first object, I'll make it first person, and then I'm going to equal it to our class, which is person, and our class contain the properties of this person. So I can just say another property of this person is age, and then I'm going to equal the age to like a integer 30 or whatever. I just say equal to 30, and then if I want to print the name now here, all I need to do is just say first person dot name, first person dot age. So whatever I reference here is what is going to print out for me. Once I save this now and run this code, then we have something like indentation error. Okay, this print should not, it's not supposed to be there. This is how the print should be. Have to be. So when I run this code again, now we have our person printed out. If I want the person to print the age, I'll just change this to like his age, and then save this, and then run this code, and I'll have his age out. But we can still make this code much more interesting by adding the init function. Let me comment it out and see. And the init function is used to assign value to our property. Let's say those properties I showed you up there, we can add values to them and using the init function. So let me paste our formal code here so that it will be easier for you to easier for me and for you to understand. So here we have our properties here where we have assigned value to them, but I'm going to remove this property now, and I'm going to replace them with the function def init. You have to put it, when you're writing the init, you have to put two bar, not one, and not minus, but it has to be the lower bar, and then the init, and open your parentheses. Then inside the parentheses, there is where you are going to specify the properties of this person, and we have one parameter self, and then the property age and his name. Any of them can come first. This self is really referring to this class person. This age is going to refer to his age, which we are going to set here, and the name which we are going to set here. So let me set the name and the age for you. Let's say self dot name is equals to name, and self dot age is equal to age. So the init has helped us to assign these properties to a particular value, which is name and age, which we will use later in our code. So now, if I want to access this person here, all I have to do is pass in this ones. Now we can see that we have a parameter which will pass here, and just like from what we discussed in our former tutorial about function, whenever we have a parameter, we are going to have an argument which we are going to return to the parameter. So we are going to return two arguments in this case, excluding for the self, because the self is referring to the class, and because this init is under the class, it has to have that as a default parameter self, and any other function which we are going to list under this class is probably going to have that self as its own default parameter, which is going to refer to the class person there. So let's say we are going to say the person's name, or let's say age is first. So I'm going to make the age, since age is first, I'm going to make age 50, and then name, comma, quote, I'm going to make the name Emmanuel. So now if I say print person.age is going to print his age for me. So let's see whether it's going to print his age or not. I believe my indentations are correct this time. So you see we have his age, and if I change this to like the person dot, just like what we did earlier, person dot name, and then save and run the code again. Now you see we have the person's name there. So we can also still make this code much more interesting. Let me copy the code again and then comment this out, and we'll see how we can use the string function in Python to make this much more interesting. So the string function, they said the string function controls what should be returned when the objects are represented as string. So here you can see our class here, person, which has these properties, and then this first object called first person it has this this person dot, this is the person's age, this is the person's name, this is the object. So now they said the string function controls what should be returned when this is set to a string. This print is setting this to a string. So when I set this to when I set it to a string, and then let's say I have another person aside from this object first person, I can still have another object second person, which is equal to person, and then open bracket. I can make his age this time let's say 30. I'm going to make the name, let's use girl's name this time, let's say Joy, and then we have a second person. So we have to represent the second person too as a string, so that the string function can be able to use it. So second person. So now we are going to see how we can use the string function here. Under this, but indentation is something we have to be careful. We are not supposed to put a string here, but here it should be in the same indentation with this def here, and not outside but here on the same line with the def. So I can say def again, then the string. This is just like the init. This is what we use for the string, and then what was that? And then inside we are going to pass one div, just like I told you. We are going to pass one default parameter self. We can use any name, but since I've started using self, I'm going to use self. You can change it to any name, but make sure when you're using any other name, you have to use the name throughout. And then I'm going to try to control what I want to return now. Instead of, if I run this code, let's say I exclude this, let me exclude all these things and save it. If I try to run this code now, I'm not really going to get anything out printed out in my code, except this memory that has been assigned to my code. So these are the memory space that has been assigned to my code, but nothing is printing out here. So I'm going to use the string function to control what I want to be printed out. So let's see, throw string. I think I don't have much space here. Then I'll say return. Let's see what the string is going to return for us. I'll say return. Then I can use my format string f, and then since I have first person name, I can say first person dot age. Or let's say I'll just say first person dot name. First person dot name is older than second person dot name. So let's see what the init is going to return for us this time when we use this now. So this is what I'm asking it to return. Mind you, I'm not using print here, we are using print here. So the init is going to return what we want to print here in this form. Let's see how it works. So you can see they say Emmanuel is older than Joy. Emmanuel is older than Joy. Why is it printing twice? Okay. So let's see, I think, what if we remove this? If we remove the two of them, I think it's not going to print out well. Let me remove this to print and see what we are going to have there. Where the screen still is. Run it again. And then you see we have Emmanuel is older than Joy. So, but once we don't have this at all, I think it's going to give us an error. Once there's nothing set there, I think it's going to return an error. Let's clear the screen. You see, nothing is going to be returned if we did not set them to string. So that is why we have to set one of them to a string by using the print. So I believe you see how we can use the string function now. So let's go to the next one to make it much more interesting as well and much more professional. So to be a professional Python developer, you have to know how to use most of all these things, and then paste them here. So now they said Objects are functions that belongs to object methods are functions that belongs to object. So in classes we have methods, and method, just like I told you earlier, method are just like what the class can do, or what the object can do, is what we refer to as the method. Let's say, for example, I remove the string function here. I think we are done with this string function. Or let's say I leave the string function there, but I'm not going to use it for the meantime. Then I'm going to create another function. Any function we create here now is what we refer to as what? Methods. That's why they said object method are functions that belongs to objects. So any function that belongs to this object now is what referred to as method. And those methods are just like what the person can do. Let's say we have this object person, and then this object person has a property name and age, and then what can this person do? That's what we're going to like specify using the method now. So I can say def, and then I can name this, let's say dance. I can use dance for that. And then it's still, since it's under the class person, it's still going to have that default parameter self. And then I'm going to set this self to like print open bracket first person dot name is dancing. It has to be is dancing. So, or can dance, something like that. So whatever you want to use. So whenever I call this function on the person, is going to say this person is dancing, and that is the person's method. One of his methods. You can have a lot of methods. You can have a lot of methods in this object, like so many of them, depend on what you want the person to do. The person can talk, the person can dance, the person can walk, the person can do a lot of things. So the person can even code. So I can say first person dot, all I need to do is just call the function on the first person dot dance. And I say first person dot dance now, and then I save this code and run it. Let's say invalid syntax. Perhaps I forgot the comma. Oh, I should have put comma here before after this. Running out of power source. So after this I will have to plug my laptop now. So now you see, let's run our code again. Clear our screen. And you see we have Emmanuel is dancing. That is one of the object or characteristic of Emmanuel. One of the things that Emmanuel can do. You can set it to so many methods that we like to or we wish to set it. Then the last thing I would like to show you before the end of this tutorial is how to modify or delete an object or object property. So let's say now we have an object. Let me remove this for the meantime. Or let me just say, let me remove this for the meantime. Now we'll say first person dot name is equal to, I'll set the name to like another name, John, and automatically this name is going to be changed to John when I say print first person dot name. So when I say print first person dot name here, you see that the name is no longer Emmanuel, or the name is now John. So this is how we can modify an object. And then for instance again, if I don't want John, if I don't want to see John there, I can now say first person dot name. This is it, and then I'm going to add del at the back. If I don't want the person there, I can just say del, delete the first person name. So once I save this code now, the John will see here, we will not see it again. So let's say, you see, it has printed John here. But once I copy this John from here, Python executes this code line by line. Once I copy this John and then bring it at the back of the delete and then save it. Let's try to like see if it's going to print the John again. And you see it's returning error now because there is no John there anymore. John is no longer there. So that is how you can modify object property, and that's how you can delete object property. Just add delete before the name there and the object will be deleted. So I believe you learned a lot from this class. If you have any question on class, you can drop it in the comment box. Feel free to like, comment and share. Subscribe to the channel if you want to